got the fan on, it might be noisy. These last couple weeks have been pretty hectic. I had a signing, then the book came out, then it was my brother's birthday, then Chitty travelled from Sheffield to Wimbledon, then I had my big London book event, and then yesterday, Sunday the 24th of July, I found out that my book is the #1 hardback in the Sunday Times bestseller list. So that happened. Thank you so much to everyone who's bought the book, who's been reading it, who's been tweeting me about it and sending me all of your pictures. It's been just amazing these last couple weeks. Amongst all of the amazing messages that I've had on social media about the book, a lot of them have been questions about the characters and the plot and the illustrations and the font, so I thought this would be the perfect time to take the opportunity to answer a few of those questions. I also have my 2 notebooks with me in which I wrote all of my notes for On the Other Side, just in case any of the answers to your questions lie inside here. Warning, this video will contain spoilers. I'm gonna start this video with a question that around 50% of the people who follow me have asked, which is it going to be released worldwide? I don't have a massive knowledge of how the book publishing industry works outside of what I've experienced with my own 2 books. So from my knowledge, as far as I'm aware, it would be very difficult to have one blanket worldwide contract that took into consideration every publishing house in every country's rules and regulations. Also, some publishing houses in some different countries may not think certain books will translate very well in their language and to their audience, so they just don't really want to publish them. That being said, my book agent and I are talking to different publishing houses in different countries currently to get On the Other Side published outside of the UK, so watch this space. Which of the 3 secrets was your favourite to write and reveal to the other characters, and why? For those of you that have read the book, you will know it's split into the 3 secrets that Evie kept throughout her life, which are the blackbird, the shoebox, and the good tree. And I think the good tree was my favourite to write. I write in order chronologically, so by the time I got to writing that point in the book, I was very comfortable with Evie as a character, and I was very comfortable with the magical realism that I was using, and it didn't really feel like it was absurd that Evie was going to bury her heart. It felt like that was a natural decision and a natural choice. If she couldn't give her heart to the man she loved and didn't want to give her heart to the man she was marrying, she wasn't going to give her heart to anyone at all. And in Evie's mind, keeping her heart inside her chest would have weighed her down way more than any secret would have, so burying it was really her only option. Is Evie based on you? Evie's everything I wish I was. I took different elements and personality traits and conversations and quotes and memories from all of the women in my life who I look up to and admire and mushed them all together, and Evie was stood in front of me. She has blonde hair and curly eyes. Blonde hair and curly eyes. She does have brown eyes and blonde curly hair. For several self-indulgent reasons. I mean, it's my book, I'm gonna write what I want. Firstly, because I remember reading books as a kid and no main character ever had blonde hair and brown eyes. If they were blonde, they had blue eyes, and it used to frustrate me to no end when I was a child. Representation is important, which, on a side note, is also why there are LGBT characters in On the Other Side, and why the main character of my next book is a woman of colour. The second reason that Evie looks a little bit like me is because I dream really, really big, and as I was writing the book, I was fantasizing about it one day becoming a movie. I thought if I made a female protagonist that looks like your average woman, i.e. me, who's not stick thin, it's kind of, you know, quite round and cartoonish, then maybe I'd get a shot at being in a movie one day. Which moves on to the next question: what is your fan cast for your book? This is strictly my fantasy fan cast, but Evie would be Emma Stone, Vincent would be Colin O'Donoghue, Jim would be Sam Claflin, Eleanor Snow would be Helen Mirren, Jane Summer would be Julie Walters, Isla would be Emma Thompson, and August would be Patrick Dempsey. Were any events in the book unplanned? I planned out the main events in the story, so I had plot point A, plot point B, plot point C, so on and so forth, but how I got between each main event I made up as I went along. And the main scene that I wrote where I was like, how did that even happen, is the scene with Sunny Shine in the school whilst very drunk. That whole scene was written in one sitting on a train, and I felt like I'd gone into a trance. It was like an out-of-body experience. I suddenly got off the train and read it the next day, and I was like, well, that was not planned. That happened. How did you come to the decision to include LGBT+ characters in On the Other Side? Because it's 2016 and why there aren't more LGBT plus characters in books is beyond me. I wanted to include those characters in the book because there are people just like them existing, living their lives out there in the world. So the idea that they shouldn't be represented in fiction is weird. And whilst I've specifically said in the book those characters are bisexual, pansexual and gay, I wanted to make the point that their sexualities are just another part of who they are. In the same way that Evie, the main protagonist, is straight, but the story isn't about her being straight. That's just another extension of who she is. I wanted to make all sexualities the norm. They don't have to be explained, they just are. Why did you decide to change the font in the book for each secret, and does it have a meaning behind it? The change of fonts is just to differentiate between Evie in the afterlife and Evie when she was alive. You can also tell by the chapter headings. If it's Evie in the afterlife, you will find a door, and if it's a flashback to when Evie was alive, it's a branch. At what age is the book aimed at? I think the fact that the book is based around magic, people think that it's YA, but it's technically categorised as women's fiction. There are some swear words, there's the lead up to a sex scene, but no actual sex scene, and then there's some adult themes like grief and loss and marriage and sex. I did want to make sure that it was accessible to a wide range of ages, so I'd say that it's suitable for 16 and up. I am now going to go and meet a friend for dinner, but there were loads and loads of questions, so if you want me to do another On the Other Side themed Q&A, then let me know in the comments, and if you have any other questions, I'll reply to them in the comments. So go ask questions, and I hope you like the book. Today we are having a little publication celebration. It is the 18th, 19th